Hello everyone, welcome back to Jegalia Apparel. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please do that. Thank you. In today's video, we're going to be cutting and sewing a Buba top with a short skirt. For the skirt, we'll be using Aso Oke, and for the top, we're going to be using Mikado fabric. And you can see the Mikado fabric. This shiny fabric is called Mikado. So let's get started. I'm just going to fold this fabric into 4. The enclosed part is where we are using as the shoulder. You can see that's the place, that's the part we are going to use as the shoulder. So let's start measuring. Now the full length I'm working with is 27. So I'm going to be adding 2 extra inches. Let me just so that you can see it better. Right, so the full length I'm working with is 27, like I said. So I'm going to add 3 inches for the stitching allowance. I'm going to be folding in about 1.5 to 2 inches for the down part. Alright, so just going to mark that and then cut it out. Please note that when making Buba, the body measurement, the full body measurement you're going to be using is the fuller part of the body. If the bust you're working with is the fuller part of the body, you use the bust measurement, but if it's the hip, you use the hip measurement. For this client, our hip is 44, as I'm making use of the hip measurement. So 44 divided by 4, that's 11, and I added 1.5 inches extra for the seam allowance and for ease. So I'm just going to mark that down for that's 13 inches down. All right, did I say 13 inches? 12.5 inches actually, plus 1/2 inch for ease, and that makes it 13. So I'm just going to notch that. And then now for the neck, because it's not going to have a zip at the back, for the neck I'm using 4 inches for the width, and then for the depth I'm making use of 5 inches. All right, she has she's a bit fat, so it's going to be convenient for her. It's not going to be too wide nor too deep, so I'm just going to mark that. If you can see, that's a round neckline. Buba is usually round neckline, except where the client decides to make a square neckline. I'm going to use the piece that I cut out from the matte fabric to pipe the neck, and the wideness is 1.5 inches, just like your bias. For the sleeve width, I am making use of 11 inches, and I'm going to mark that there. The sleeve length is 12 plus 2 inches, which makes it 14. So I cut it out, and I'm just going to notch that. And let's go ahead and cut the skirt. For the skirt, I am making use of the length I'm working with is 15 inches, and then 2 plus 2 inches for hemming allowance. And so let's start. The waist I'm working with is 34 inches. 34 divided by 4, that is 8.5, plus 1.5 inches for the stitching allowance. And our hip is 44 divided by 4, that is 10, plus 1.5 stitching allowance. So I just connected all that and then cutting it out. Now as you can see, this is the shape. All right, now I'm going to use the front to cut the back. So I added 1.5 inches for the zip allowance at the back, and I'm just going to cut that out as well. Now this is what we have. I'm going to open that up. Like I said, that is the zip allowance at the back. This is the remaining piece of the Aso Oke, and this was joined. These are 3 pieces joined together. So I'm just going to loosen this up, but I'm trying to trim off all the necessary parts. So this is it. I'm just going to loosen all these parts because the fabric the lady brought wasn't so much. I'm just trying to manage it. Now can you see I've loosened out the 3 pieces together. I've loosened everything. So now let's check the length, because we need 40 inches for it to give us that design that we have in front. So I'm just going to join 2 together. I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and then join it. Now let's start with the top. All right, let's start with the top. The first thing is to pipe the neck. remember the piece that I cut out, just the same way you pipe when you're sewing. All right, that's what I'm going to do. Now after piping the neck, this is what we have. As you can see, I've also gone ahead to stitch the sleeve. So the next thing is for us to join the sleeve. Remember where we notched, all right, on the shoulder part. So I'm just going to take one of the sleeve, right side facing right side. Remember where we notched both on the sleeve and on the shoulder. So, and then we're just going to stitch that down. We'll do the same thing on the second part of the shoulder. And then by the time we stitch it up, we'll come back and see what we have. Now this is it. Can you see? All right, so now can you see the shape that is giving us? Can you see that shape? So I'm just going to take in 1/2 inches after arranging all this. Now let's check the body measurement, round body measurement, if it's exactly what we have. Can you see? Now, and then is 2 inches is, and then we have 1/2 inches for stitching. All right, so we're just going to measure that just so that we are sure of what we have is actually accurate. So I'm just going to take in 1/2 inches, like I said, stitch it. When you get to the armhole area, please curve your hand in and then leave 4 inches. All right, it is going to have a slit beside both the right side and on the other side. So it's going to have a slit, just going to open that up a little bit. Now this is what we have at the end of the day. If you notice, it's not a difficult dress to make at all. It's not hard. And then the skirt, I've gone ahead to join the lining and also iron it out. Right, so the next thing will be to join the zip at the back. So I'm just going to measure 7 inches and then stitch the remaining. All right, so this is, just assume I have attached the zip. So bringing in the front, can you see the shape that we are already having? Now how we're going to insert this long strap. Now please just watch what I'm doing. Okay, I'm just going to place it like that and then shape out that hip. You know, it's going to be in the hip area, so I'm going to shape it out so that it can have the same shape that the hip has, so that when we join it together, it's not bulging or anything. That is exactly what I'm doing. So when stitching on it, I'm just going to plait it twice just to give it a little shape. I've attached the zip at the back. I'm setting that aside, and also the side here, you can see I'm just going to stitch that. Like I said, I'm going to plait it just twice just to give a little shape. That is what I'm going to do right now. So afterwards, I'm going to bring the back, place it on it, and then we are going to stitch. But before that, you have to take in that strap inside so that you don't stitch on it. We are not stitching on it, so we're just going to stitch that. Now this is it. Now can you see how beautiful this is looking? Now that from here, this angle, I actually hand stitched it. You can equally use your sewing machine for it. And our short skirt and buba top is ready. Thank you for watching. If you're here to subscribe, please do that. Give this video a thumbs up. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.